right, then I will go ahead and call to order this special meeting of the River City Regional Stadium Financing Authority Board of Directors for May 23rd, 2022. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll and establish a quorum?
Sorry, Board Member Villegas?
Present.
Madam Clerk, I think you're muted again.
Board Member Ledesma?
Here.
Board Member Kennedy?
Here.
Vice President Mayor Guerrero?
Here.
President Serna?
Here. All right, we have a quorum. All right. So I want to welcome everyone to the open session. Forgive me, did we get anywhere into the agenda for open session before closed session? Okay, then with that, we will consider our first agenda item today, which is approval of the minutes from August 31st, 2021.
Move to approve.
It's been moved up by Vice President Guerrero. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Kennedy. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Board Member Ledesma?
Aye.
Board Member Kennedy?
Aye.
Board Member Villegas?
Aye.
Vice President Guerrero?
Aye.
President Serna?
Aye. All right, very good. Thank you. We'll move on to item 2 under reports. Presentation of the Treasurer's Report for calendar year 2021.
Good afternoon. I am Becky Robertson, Finance Manager with the City of West Sacramento. So this report is presented on an annual basis, and the goal is to provide the authority some key information about the finances of the ballpark and how those finances relate to the different financing agreements that were put in place related to the bonds. There were a number of measures put into place to ensure the authority and the purchasers of the bonds were protected. To protect the authority, a number of reserves were established in order to minimize the likelihood that River City Stadium Authority would ever be unable to make the required debt service payments. So the first attachment provided is the River City Baseball Investment Group audit and consolidated financial statements as provided by their independent auditor, Moss Adams. This shows that in the calendar year 2021, the reserves were funded as specified under the lease agreement. There was no instance of default, and there was confirmation of the annual debt service obligations. In addition, a substantial portion of the stadium revenues flow through a lockbox, which are distributed on a 50-50 basis to the River City Stadium management for operating expenses and to the bond trustee in order to make debt service payments. Funds sent to the trustee are first used for bond payments and then to fund the reserve. Additional funds after those two requirements are met are then returned to the River City Stadium management for the stadium operations. So the second attachment you're going to see is a letter from the bond trustee, BNY Mellon, demonstrating that the transfer of the stadium revenues and the debt service payments occurred as they should. As of April 13th, 2022, the bond trustee had collected sufficient lockbox revenues to make the upcoming debt service obligations and met the reserve requirements. So then the additional funds were returned to the River City companies. So that's kind of the conclusion for this item. There isn't an action that needs to be taken, but if you have any questions on the report, I would be happy to answer them.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Robertson? All right, I don't see any questions here. This is a non-action item?
That's correct. It's just informational.
Okay, very good. I'll thank you for the report. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to a new business. Item 3, consideration of approval of authority and municipal administrative expense budgets for fiscal year 2022 and 23.
Good afternoon, members of the board. This is also an annual item that we do every year in accordance with the various agreements. We are required to negotiate in good faith with the River Cats staff on a municipal administration budget. And so this budget that is proposed, typically every year, we reach out to Yolo County, Sacramento County, and City of West Sacramento to get budget requests, and then we coordinate those and negotiate with Jeff Savage. This year's budget is the same as last year's. It is a lot larger than what it typically has been in the past. I think prior to last year, it was about $11,600 a year, and it was intended to cover the trustee clock costs and disclosure services related to the bonds. And as the City of West Sacramento managing those, our staff and legal costs associated with the JPA attorneys attending meetings or weighing in on other things. With COVID and the baseball being shut down for a while, revenues reducing quite significantly. There was a lot of legal expenses incurred on both sides, really working with the River Cats and trying to understand what would cause a notice, what would cause a default on the bonds, where were we, how long did we have, to revenues to pay the debt service. Luckily, everything was paid as it should have been. All of the, as Becky just mentioned, all of the required reserves are back up to the balances they should be, and there are no current concerns related to that. However, to be careful, because we don't know what's going on, we wanted to maintain the same budget, which had a higher legal cost. So this is the same budget as last year with one difference. The county has proposed to move $5,000 in appropriations from the legal cost line item to a contingency line item. And you'll see here too that there are the $12,117.25 that was agreed to last year for the prior year unreimbursed legal expenses incurred in the beginning of the pandemic. We had an agreement to where the River Cats would pay half, the city and county would each pay half, and we would split that over 2 years. And so this is the final year of reimbursement for those costs. Besides that, everything else is the same, and we would ask that you approve the budget.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any questions for Roberta? Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public signed up to speak on this matter?
Do not.
Okay, in that event, I will entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Kennedy,
Second.
second by Board Member Ledesma. Roll call vote, please.
Board Member Ledesma,
Aye.
Board Member Kennedy,
Aye.
Board Member Villegas,
Yes.
Vice President Guerrero,
Aye.
President Serna.
Aye. Very good, thank you. All right, our last item is the public's opportunity to address the authority board of directors on any item that is not on the agenda. And Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up to address us on items not on the agenda?
I see no hands.
Okay, all right. Then with that, I believe we have no further business in front of this authority, and we stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.